Today on the Breakfast Buffet, we have legendary Coach Gonzalez. That's right. The one who shaped many of these young, crazy wrestlers into champions, not only in wrestling, but in life. Learn about the impact he had on not only just me, but many of the other wrestlers, not only in South Plainfield, but around the state of New Jersey. I hope you guys will enjoy.
Do it! Great jazz call. Major decision, 14-4.
Special guest today, the Tiger Dynasty, Coach Gonz. Coach Gonzalez, man, it's great to have you. We talk about you all the time, all of us. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ray. Thank you very much. It's an honor and a privilege to talk to you, to talk to your community, and to be a part of your podcast.
Definitely. I'm definitely grateful to have you. I mean, you were such an inspiration in my life, and definitely have so many lessons and stories that, I carry around to this day in my life, and also to the kids that I coach in middle school. And some of my middle school kids and the parents, they know you from, some of them have ties to Rahway and everything. So everyone always speaks very highly of you.
Well, I think that from where I began, as a young kid wrestling for recreation wrestling in North Bergen in Hudson County, my coaches instilled that very same thing in me. I wanted to emulate them. I wanted to do for you guys what they had done for me. And through my travels, through coaching, through teaching, I've learned from so many other different coaches, and I still learn to this day how to conduct myself. And it's always a learning curve. It's always a process. It's always getting better. Sometimes you miss the mark. Sometimes you wish that you listened instead of talked. You feel sometimes you wish you were tender instead of harsh. So it's always a growing process,
The white belt mentality, we call it, always willing to learn from others. And
absolutely,
you got this crazy group of kids, right, from South Plainfield, this middle school that ended up shaping to become this great dynasty that we had. We ended up being the number one team in the state and doing all these extraordinary things. That may have never happened if we didn't have a coach like you.
You honor me. You honor me. We all know that the town in itself, the town in and of itself, the parents really help shape that, along with the support from the administration. I remember coming in 2005, and I was done coaching in Montclair. I was the head coach at the high school there, and I came to South Plainfield, and Mr. Novak, my first principal there at the middle school, said to me, "Hey, John, I noticed you did some coaching in the past. Would you like to be the assistant middle school coach?" I said, "Well, let me check with the missus, but absolutely." So the next day, he sets up a meeting for Mr. Hydock, Kevin Hydock, the then head middle school coach, to meet. And so Hydock hands, we shake hands, hey, whatever you need. And Hydock hands over the schedule. And I looked at the schedule. It was 2 pages. It was like front and back. I said, is this the high school and middle school schedule combined? No, that's our middle school schedule. And from that moment on, I had no illusions. I knew that South Plainfield was a premier program. And, I said to my wife, assistant middle school? Come on, it's a walk in the park. I was so pleasantly surprised. And there you have it. So it's a monster program, not starting at the middle school, but starting at the rec level. Those rec coaches, they really put their time in. They did a great job of giving me talent. I didn't have to do anything with you guys. You guys were ready to go, chomping at the bit, wanted the spotlight. Every time you went up to the high school to see a match, the spotlight came down, the music came on, the cheerleaders ran out. You guys aspired to get to that level. I was just merely the vehicle to get you there. I was, happy to make you want to get there.
Definitely, yeah. You put us in their shoes. You prepared us for what we were going to get into. And what was great about all that was everyone was on the same pages. Everyone in elementary school coaches to the middle school coaches to the high school coaches, everyone was on the same page, and that was super important.
Oh, absolutely. They were so supportive. The middle school coaches, the rec coaches and parents, and the high school parents and coaches. They all wanted the same thing. They were, like you said, everyone was on the same page. Everybody wanted everyone to succeed. And the one thing I learned as a coach, I was a football coach in Montclair High School, and one of the upper level varsity coaches said to me, "You have one real job. You have one job. Your job is to make a freshman football player become a sophomore football player." And that stuck with me from that point on. That was a part of my job as a coach, to get you to love the sport, to get you to want to go to the next level. And that was it. That keeping that simple message in my mind motivated me to, figure out what it is that's going to motivate Ray Jazikoff, figure out what it is that's going to motivate Anthony Ashnault, or, Troy Holloman, or the kids that you don't know that's a part of Murderers Row, which is even more important, the guys that help support the guys behind Murderers Row, the rest of the team, the guys that got on the bus, the guys that came to practice and did the sprints with you guys. That was the whole thing, to get those other guys to become the varsity guy that gets that extra match. You know what I mean? That's the big get right there. That was the big thing.
Yeah, everyone was tough. We're all a team, from the guys like, Torrey Russell to Luigi Girardi to a Sam Bermudez. Yeah. Everyone was on the same page. We all did the same practices. We all did the same technique. We all had that same toughness. And, just the fact that you were able to just pinpoint different guys and focus on what they needed, to get to that next level.
Yeah, it was fun. It was it was great. It was an extraordinary experience in that South Plainfield gave me a 4x4 mat in a room that was heated, that was open, total access, and the great coaches that I had to work with. I mean, I had great guys that you couldn't ask for better guys that instantly got on the same page with me. There's coaching philosophies that could, rub people the wrong way. Everybody was on the same page. Steve Johnston, Kevin Hydock, Mike Jakubik, Mike Hoppy,
Ramos was in there.
Chaffee, the list goes on. Anthony Cardinale, everybody was on the same page, technique-wise, motivation-wise, what was best for the team. Everybody was on the same page. We all wanted to grind. That's what we wanted to do. We just wanted to grind.
Yep, and when you stepped into that practice room, we knew it was going to be hard. We knew it was going to be a grind, but you always made it enjoyable, whether it was the first 15 minutes being tape ball or, running around and having the battle royale. That, it was always that fun atmosphere, but when it was time to work, we worked.
Well, that was the one thing that was important to me. I remember this distinctly, having a tough day at school, and that tough day at school transferred over to practice. And I said to the guys on the team, because no one was on the same page yet. No one was ready to start practice. And I said, guys, when I get to practice, that's when the good day starts. If I have a miserable day at at school, I look forward to coming to practice. I look forward to being in this room. I look forward to interacting with you guys. I look forward to you guys grinding. That's fun for me. And I want it to be fun for you. And I enjoyed talking to the guys before practice. I remember sitting down, lacing my shoes, sitting with the other coaches, and the guys would just sit and we would talk about their day. That to me was premier, paramount, number one. That was job one, to get you to like the sport. Where else are you going to put yourself in a hot room for 3 hours a day beating each other up? That doesn't sound fun to anybody. To get people to enjoy it and enjoy the guy next to him and enjoy the whistle, embrace the grind, that was job one. And for the guys that I had, and you guys made it easy.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said before, lacing your shoes up together, and that's where a lot of those life lessons were, before and then after the practice. When the grind was over, you always sat us down and talked, whether it was, our opponents coming up. I remember the big ones we wanted to beat was Phillipsburg, and we always had those things in the locker room, beat Phillipsburg and stuff. And it was we always had a common goal, right? And everything, you just instilled that, and that was super important, and that always stuck out to me, coming together for that common goal.
Yeah, getting the guys on the same page. And we had kids that won every match, and we had kids that won 0 matches. And so what was that kid's common goal? And so you had to find it. You had to find something that could tie a kid that has won 0 matches versus a guy who's a 1, 2, 3-time league champion. What motivates this guy to this guy? 2 different animals, and you had to find it. And being a part of the team, being a unit, wearing the shirt, wearing the colors, getting on the bus, that was part of it. You had a special part as a leader, and you've heard me say, like, everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time.
Yep.
And not too many of us have an S on our chest. We're regular people. It's just what inspires you, what drives you. And that's it. Push yourself.
Definitely. And how rewarding was it to see, like, just these group of guys just growing up? I mean, now it's probably even crazier now that we're all in our mid to late 20s.
Yeah. Well, so that is a really, really big payday. Nobody thinks about it. Nobody talks about it. Coaches don't really go around and say, hey, what my 2002 team's doing right now? We don't really do that. We enjoy everyone's success in silence. We work hard, and you're silent. Your success is out there, and we just sit back and we enjoy it. And to see the things that you guys are doing, it makes my heart swell with pride. And I have friends that say, hey, didn't you coach that guy? Oh, yeah. He's great, isn't he? And hey, look, this guy's doing professional wrestling now. What? He's from South Plainview. You know him? Yeah, no, he's there. It's things like that are a pleasure to see. There's a level of pride that goes along with it. So it's truly awesome. It's truly awesome.
Definitely. And the way that, you treated everyone on the team, the same way. It didn't matter if you were winning all those matches or losing all those matches. You were there to get better. And I remember when I was going in there as a 6th grader, man, you didn't treat me any different. You're like, no, you're here. You're gonna wrestle like a middle school kid. That's it. This ain't no rec anymore. And that always stuck out to me too. You always got me all those matches, getting me ready for the next year when I would be on, full time on the middle school team. And that always stuck out to me. No, you're gonna get in there and you're gonna wrestle. There's no halfway.
Yeah, I have to credit the coaches on the high school level. I have to credit the coaches on the rec level that really helped support me to do that. Certain guys were ready for full-time middle school while being a part of, the rec league, and certain weren't, and that was fine. But once you guys put your pinky toe in that pool, you were swimming. We expected you guys to swim, and the high school guys wanted to make sure you get those matches, and we all knew, we were all on the same page. We all read the same playbook, and that's what we did. So, and that was the recipe for our success: grow and develop and push and get out of your comfort zone and just do more and more and more. And here we are.
Yeah, here we are. And, I tell my middle school team all the time, I'm like, if you hate these drills, blame it on Coach Gonz. So they know you all the time. I always talk about it.
You guys inspired me. You guys inspired me to find that crazy stuff. Because I know, look, you guys were in rec forever. And you guys grinded in rec. You guys were grinding in rec. So I couldn't, in my good conscience, give you guys the same type of practice. I had to come up with crazy stuff. I had to come up with things that were off the wall, that made you guys question yourself. I can't do that. This guy's nuts. To turning it around. Look what you did. Look what you created. Look what you were able to do. Because you believed in yourself. You changed your mindset. And next thing you know, 2.5 hours are gone. 2.5 hours in an 85-degree room. Gone. Done. Let's pack up. Let's do it again tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow I can do more of what we did. So you guys truly inspired me to just be diabolical. You inspired me to be as mean and as inventive as I possibly could, because I knew, like, how many takedown drills can you guys actually do between 2nd grade and 6th grade? You would have been out of your mind. So I knew doing something like that, reaching and becoming creative and working with the other coaches to do something that this guy's nuts. That's what I wanted. That I wanted to be able to say, what we do, nobody else does.
Definitely. My favorite one was when we would sprint at the end, towards the end of the practice, we would sprint to a whole song. And yeah. I make my kids do that now all the time in middle school. And just think, the song is about 3 to 4 minutes. So it's like you're sprinting for that whole match, or at least that whole first period. You're not even thinking about it. You're just thinking about the song and running.
Yeah. I remember, I tell you what, like it was yesterday, Ryan Walsh. Remember Ryan?
Yep.
I was at middle school practice. He was in the high school, and he was finishing up a practice at the PAL. And I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He goes, "Thank God I don't have to sprint an entire song anymore." I guess it resonated with him. And so, yeah, it's those types of things that, I mean, once this song is over, I'm done. I can walk out of here, right? Those are big deals. Those are big deals.
I remember we even listened to some of those songs today. I think the best one was Mrs. Officer by Lil Wayne. Every time we hear that song, we play that song. Sometimes we're all hanging out. Me, Hunt, and Scott, we're like, oh, man, remember when we sprinted to this song? You make us sing the chorus and everything.
I think that was – see, that's the thing. And I knew my audience. I knew who I was working with. That sometimes that wouldn't work with high school kids. That wouldn't work with rec kids. I knew that you guys and middle school in general are a certain set. You have a certain mindset, a certain talent. And that was my goal. I found it, and I was lucky. I was able to tune in to who you guys were, and I knew that you guys would get into it. And my old high school coach, my freshman high school coach, he did the same thing. He did crazy, wacky stuff like that too.
Yeah, that was awesome. So, how was it just going from, a full day of teaching right into coaching? How did you just, flip that switch? I know if you had a bad day, once you got into that room, that was it. It was all wrestling. How were you able to just deal with those long days and, our hefty schedule during middle school?
That's a great question. Professionally, I love teaching. And I'm a special education teacher, and there are challenges around every corner. And you're working with a very specific group of individuals, and so they require the most out of you. And you're in a box, let's say, for example, if I were teaching special education at the middle school, I'm in a box. And so I have to act in a certain particular way. Once I get into wrestling mode and I'm able to leave the middle school and go to practice, that box opens up, and it's no longer a box. It's more of a maybe an octagon, or it's something wider. It's something different. I'm able to become a different person while still working in the same set. I have to teach. I have to command. I have to visualize. I have to test kids. I have to do all the same things, but it's no longer a very 4-sided figure. It could be a 9-sided figure. It's a 10-sided figure. Everything from wrestle-offs to weight checks to just conditioning or just technique days. So that dynamic is a great difference. It's a big difference. And I was able to shine. Like I said, once I get to practice, it's the best part of my day. It's the best part of my business day. I love it because it's always a challenge, like teaching, but I have a lot more flow, a lot more freedom. In teaching, I have to, let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're preparing for a test. Thursday, we test. Then Friday, we're doing something else. With wrestling, it's similar. All right, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to condition. Wednesday, we have a match. Thursday we get back, we review, and then Friday we have to prepare for the weekend. So it's similar, but the freedom to do what you need. Like, we have a bad day of practice. People are dogging it. What happens? I have to change on the fly. I don't want to grind you guys into the ground. Let's change direction. Let's get the tape ball out. Let's get some kickball going. Let's change our mindset, and let's get back to work. Coaching, I have a lot more flexibility. Teaching, a little bit, not so much. There's a lot more structure involved.
Yeah, and that was another thing that always stuck out with me. The matches, practice was, tough and everything, but you made those matches the reward. That was the reward after those long, hard weeks of practice. It was like, all right, here's a reward. You're going on a bus ride with your closest friends and teammates, and now it's time to do business.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on. I mean, and the great thing about South Plainfield and the league that we were in, the New Jersey Grade School League, we were everywhere from as far north as High Point and west to Phillipsburg and south, and we had some great competition with Kenilworth. We had all this great competition. So that means get on the bus. You're spending 6 hours at a quad on a Saturday. You're spending 8 hours at a tournament on a Sunday. And, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about for building that friendship, for creating that camaraderie. Those types of things, that's what it's all about. So I would say, what kind of bus ride do you want at home, on the way home? What kind of bus ride do you want on the way home? It's what you do in that mat will dictate how you're feeling on that bus ride home. Because remember, I've had, like you had, some really bad matches far away from home, and that bus ride was never fun. So,
yep. Sometimes it was the silent bus rides, and then it was the happy ones.
Thankfully, we had more happy bus rides than sad ones. That's for sure.
Yes, for sure. And like you said, a lot of the memories we have aren't really even on the mat per se. I mean, I remember the best one was when we wrestled at, I think it was High Point. We wrestled underneath the bar, and it was like karaoke night.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that. It was like, where are we going? We're going to a VFW. Hey, why are we going to a VFW? That's where our mat is. You say, what? So we walked in. It was cold, man. It was cold, and it was dark out. And I said, I'm actually looking around like, this doesn't look right. This does not look right. And we opened the door, and you could smell the bar, and you could hear the music in the background, and people are talking. And we just filed in, boom, 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 one after the other. And down the stairs we went. Coach, your locker room's over there in that corner. It was just a big open room. Oh, my God. It was quite the night. It was quite the night.
And I'm sure the parents are happy they drove to a bar that Friday night. I think some of them snuck upstairs.
I don't know. I was really busy coaching. But I tell you what, it's a pretty cool environment if when you win and you're able to, on your way out, by the way, bartender, You know what I mean? I was on the bus with you guys, straight on the way home.
It was a happy ride back.
Yes,
So
it was.
what other memories and stories that were like your favorite?
Oh man, you got how many hours do you got? I can go on and on and on. All right, so when I first started working with Kevin Hydock, going down to the Wildwood duels at the end of the year, with Nick Heilman, Wagner, Ryan Sacco, all those guys. We did, we got beat up. We had 10 matches. I think we won 2 of them against the best competition, across the country. And on the way home, we got hit with a blizzard. There was a blizzard on the way home. Like, that was crazy. Tyler Hunt and I, we had a really good relationship, and we would, fool around way too much and playing pranks on each other was really big. So it's always been, it's never the same. It's never the same. Winning matches, that's gravy. That's awesome. But working with you guys individually and as a group, that was a big payday.
Definitely.
Sure, Scotty Del Vecchio has a million stories that he'd want to share. Boris Sasenko, and the last group that I was working with, Scott's brother Zach, and his youngest brother now, who's at the high school. It was crazy. Jake and I had a great relationship. It was just, that's another thing. Like, the whole Del Vecchio family, the Heilman family, the Jakubik family, great family. I coached, Randy and Joe, and then Randy and I started coaching together. Big shout out to them for, and now I work with Mike as a classroom teacher. Big shout out to them. It's always been a positive.
Yeah, and everything's coming full send. You had them as wrestlers, and now you got them as coworkers and assistant coaches. So it's pretty cool to see.
My opposition, you were coaching at another school now, so
yeah.
I can see you from across the mat, and I know your brain, but I tell you what, you've grown exponentially. So I'll never know what you're gonna throw at us. So that's a compliment. I'm really happy that I get to see guys that I worked with. Actually, I worked for. I always worked for you guys. I never worked with you. I worked for you. You guys were my boss. I always felt a sense that I got to do right by my guys. I got to do right by my boss. I have to work hard for you guys. That's always been another thing. So I worked for you guys. I never worked with you.
Definitely. Yep. And we felt that. We trusted you, and we trusted the process, and that's a big thing with coaching nowadays. Trusting your coach, knowing they have your best interest, and just trusting their practices and trusting their guidance. And we always trusted you with everything. Maybe a little bit too much with everything.
The thing is, like, so you're coaching, right? And you get to know every individual wrestler, and you look at them, and I could tell when you're having a bad day. It's like, somebody, all right, pull this kid aside, or put him with this guy. You could sense after a while working so closely together in that hurt locker, in that tight room with the heat. You get to know, you expose yourself to actually who you really are, and getting to know somebody, you get to, listen, Johnny's having a bad day today. I don't know what's going on, coach. Go over there, talk to him. Coach, move him to over there with that guy. And see, it's a constant dance that we have to do. Getting to know your wrestlers, the trust that they have in you. Like, I'm going to go to practice, and I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. And coaches, that's a part of it. Like, what's coach going to do if I don't want to do this? Listen, that was a part of it, And so we got you out of that funk one way or another, and we got you to produce. That was the challenge, and that's the trust, and that's the relationship, and that's the process.
Yep. And I remember you always brought little Griff and Darren there, and they're doing amazing things now. It's crazy to see, especially Griff He's in college
Yeah.
now, huh?
Yeah. So Duran, he just graduated from University of Connecticut with a molecular biology degree. He's looking to go back and study the genomics project, like working with the genes and our DNA and stuff. And Griffin's working on engineering. He wants to be
Uh-huh.
an engineer.
Oh
So
wow.
the funny thing is, once they went off to college, they found like, oh, UConn, they have a club wrestling team. And he went out for it, and he wrestled his first year, and he had a great time. It was perfect timing. Freshman year, he got out there. He really competed. The team went out to the Nationals in Virginia for like the D3 and lower programs. He had a great time. And then as school kicked in and grades were important, he had to kind of hunker down, but they always had a door open for him. And same with Griff. Griff at Penn State, they had a wrestling club, and he got to get in there. And whenever he wanted to grind or he needed a workout that only wrestling can give you, he had the avenue to pursue it. So, yeah,
That
things are
outlet.
really good. Yeah.
Yep. That outlet, and they probably met some great friends through that whole, wrestling. That's the thing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you know as well as I do, when you're in college and you're at a party, all the wrestlers find themselves.
Yes.
They just over there talking, and all of a sudden, this guy comes over. Yeah, I wrestled for this guy. Oh, and we just find we are a different breed. We're a different breed. Everybody could play basketball. Everybody could play football. Everybody could play baseball, but only a certain group of people could wrestle. And there's a special bond and brotherhood there. And I'm glad I was able to give it to my children. I'm glad I was able to give it to guys like you.
Yeah, definitely. Wrestling, that culture, man, it's a strong bond. You can go anywhere. You go anywhere in the world, and you can just spot out a wrestler from a mile away.
Yeah, they definitely have a different swagger.
Yep. So adversity moment, right? So I asked this to everyone. What is some adversity you've been through that is a part of you and a part of your story now?
Well, on a competitive level, my junior year, I went to North Bergen High School, and we always, as North Bergen, we always go to the Bergen County Coaches Tournament, kind of like the GMCs, right? And my senior year, I actually qualified to make it to the second day. But nobody really told me that I should stop eating. Nobody really told me I should just, watch my weight. So I ballooned up to 150 pounds when I was supposed to wrestle 140. So my coach is like, what are you going to do? I said, don't worry, coach. I'll make weight. So long story short, I spent the night at the high school, in our high school, and I ran, and I'd fall asleep, and then I'd run again, shower, fall asleep, ran and ran. I ran all night long. I ran on the bus from North Bergen High School to Hackensack High School, and I made weight, and I missed the weight first. I had to run some more, and my coach yells over, "Come on, let's go, it's final weigh-in." And I made it to the scale, and the guy says, "Just close your eyes." I got on the scale. I didn't hear the dink of the scale. The guy said, "You made it." And I gathered my stuff, I walked to the corner, and I just cried. It was crazy. That right there, that moment of just the hard work with stupidity involved, but the hard work, the dedication, that's what got me third place in that tournament. And that was a big deal for me. That was a big deal for my school at the time. Out of 41 teams, I was third. I take a lot of pride in that. And from that point forward, you're at 2 a.m, 4 a.m, 6 a.m, running and running and running for one reason. So, at that point, I could do anything. I learned that I can do anything. Nothing's gonna, slow me down. I learned that pain is temporary. All those cliches that people say happened in that moment for me, along with other lessons. But when it comes to adversity and being down and my back against the wall, and I had nobody. I mean, I slept there by myself. I had nobody except me. I was on that island, just like you are when you're wrestling. That was the culmination of like figuring it out. Like, there's nothing I can't do.
Definitely.
So that was a big lesson. That was a big lesson.
And that's the big lesson that wrestling brings you. It's just you on that mat. It's just you making weight. You don't have a teammate to back you up. You have no one else to blame but yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Fast forward, you have a paper due tomorrow, and you haven't written it yet, but you're a wrestler. That's good. I can do it. You have a huge presentation to show your boss. You don't know what you're doing. Don't worry. You can do it. You're a wrestler. You've been there. You've done those extra push-ups. You've done every extra sprint. That's what, wrestling brings out in all of us. The can-do attitude, the, never back down,
For sure. And you're still coaching, helping out the community of Rahway.
Yes.
What's your what's the big motivation in going that? Your kids are in college and everything, and you still find it to still give back to your community and help out those Rahway wrestlers.
I love it. I love the sport. I love the sport. One of the guys that I used to coach against from Phillipsburg, Tim Longacre, he was just great. He was a great coach. He had great teams all the time. Always found ways to beat us, and every time we beat them, it was the toughest match ever. And he said to me, it's like, we're talking about the future. We're talking about our children. We're talking about the kids that we coach. And he said, you know what, Gonz, you're the guy that loves wrestling. You love the sport of wrestling. Not so much you love coaching. You love the sport of it. You love what it brings out in kids. You love what it brings out in you. You love what it brings out in the community. And so, I can't not. I'm not ready to give it up. I'm healthy. I want to be a part of it. And the kids in Rahway are phenomenal program, phenomenal coaches. Again, it's inspiring to be a part of something different. Now that I'm in my neighborhood, I'm a part of my community, I get to see what goes on, so there's a different level of pride. There's a different level of commitment. It's fun. It's invigorating, and it's exciting, and it's inspiring.
No doubt. And, like you said, your coaches are part of you. A lot of your philosophies, like I said, you're just a mixture of everyone and every mentor you had. And, you're definitely a part of me and my coaching philosophies and life philosophies. And so we'll end it with this. Who is Coach Gonzalez, and what do you want to be known for?
Oh, man. I'm a regular guy. I like to wear jeans. I like to cook. I love my family. I'm a regular guy, the most approachable guy you can find. I find that community and family are vital, are important, are a lot. I want to be known for you. I want to be known for John Giron. I want to be known for Robert Mamone. I want to be known for getting kids to do better than what they thought they can be. I want to be known for a guy that gave kids a chance. I want to be known for being a man for others, picking guys up and making them better, even when they didn't think they could. That's what I want to be known for. I want to be known for as a dad that supported his kids. I want to be known for a husband that supported his wife, and a father figure, a husband, an uncle, just like community and society in general. The smallest part of a society is your family, and I want to be known for a positive member of that society, a positive member of my family, a positive member of the wrestling community. that's what I want to be known for.
I like that. I like that a lot. For the John Durans and Bobby Moe, shout out John Duran. I mean, had to give him a shout out, man.
It's funny. The one last story, if you have time.
Oh yeah, we have as much time as you want.
Yeah. John Duran's English teacher came up to me and said, John wrote something in an essay. I thought it was the most amazing thing. I was really proud of him. I said, oh my God, please share. He said, I believe in myself like water is wet and ice is cold. And, I got goosebumps just thinking about it right now. And that's what we used to say. That was part of our culture. That was what we were developing. You need to believe in yourself. Like ice will never be anything but cold. And water and the texture of water and what water is always going to be wet. It's not going to be anything else. And you have to believe that. Unshakable. And when John wrote that, his English teacher was very, very proud of him, and she felt it was necessary to share it. So I think those are the types of things that, down the road, bring a smile to my face. And, a certain song comes on, and it'll bring me right back to wrestling practice. So I want to be known as the guy who, pushed someone forward, lifted someone up.
Awesome.
With the help of everyone around me.
Awesome. I like that. Yep. I never forget, like water is wet and ice is cold. Have no doubt in yourself whatsoever.
Never.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Thanks for your time. Where can people find you? On the Rahway streets in the community. On Facebook.
Me here in Rahway, helping out, doing what I can, cooking in my backyard, stuff like that.
Awesome, Coach. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Let me know when I can see this gem that you're putting together.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Great jazz call.